What will it profit a man or a woman if he gains the whole world and yet forfeits his soul? Forfeit your very person, your soul. Everything hangs on us recognizing this false self, denying it, and putting it to the cross. We've got one life to live, and everything around us and all the world it's telling us, the world's telling us to try to gain the world. That this is the goal of life, to gain the world, to do this, to do that, to become this, to become that. We look here, there, and everywhere for happiness and fulfillment and achievement. And we're just putting all this junk on top of ourselves, and it's destroying. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 and 16 says it this way: do not love the world or the things in the world. For all that's in the world, the lust of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and the pride and possessions, is not from the Father, but it's from the world. This is our daily battle, friends. It's not just like a one-time thing, like, oh, okay, like, I deny myself and I trust Jesus, cross, become a Christian. Jesus says, you must deny yourself daily, pick up your cross and follow him. It's all around us, everywhere we look in the world, all of this stuff. Here's my true confession, friends, family. I fall in love with the world over and over again. The lust of the flesh, the desires of the eyes, the pride and possession, sex, money, stuff, an easy, comfortable life. I like it. I want it. Here's the thing. Every time I buy into those lies, there's this eating away that happens in my soul. I lose a part of my person, it feels like, as they're just living into that false self. There's a cost to it. There's a cost to loving the world. It's the cost of our souls. John Calvin says it this way in his newly printed little book, a little book on the Christian life. He's got a chapter titled Self-Denial in the Christian Life. He says, once self-denial has occupied the heart, it crowds out the evils of pride, arrogance, and pretentiousness, as well as greed, lust, gluttony, cowardice, and everything else that is born of self-love. On the other hand, where self-denial does not reign, the worst vices thrive shamelessly. We need what the Puritan Thomas Chalmers said, the explosive power of a greater affection. See, just trying not to sin and just trying to be a good person, to not do the bad things and to do the good things will not work. It doesn't work. We need our hearts filled with a greater affection, a greater desire than the things of the world. We need the desire of the Father, the love of God, and his joy. The hard thing is that to get there, we have to follow Jesus and the way of Jesus. The way up is down. The way where the path to victory is the way of defeat. The way where the path to new life is the way to death. Got to pick up crosses. It's not cheap or easy. That's the Dietrich Bonhoeffer. There's other ways you call it cheap grace, where we try to get the good things of God, but without forgiveness, without repentance, without confession, without Jesus. Here's what I'm calling you today, and it doesn't seem like a very good idea as a pastor who likes that our church is growing and people are coming to Christ, and we enjoy one another and don't want to offend anyone and have them not come back or leave the church. But like Jesus says in verse 26, we're not spending a whole lot of time with it today, but he says if we're ashamed of him and his words, then there's really no hope for us, and there'll be eternal consequences for that. So I'm standing here as one of your church members and as your pastors, banking my life and our church and my job and my life on Jesus' words today, and calling you to do what he's saying here, calling you to die, to be crucified, pick up your cross. We've just got to stop living for ourselves. We've got to die. We've got to deny ourselves in pursuit of the greater joy and life that God offers us through his Son, Jesus the Christ. We've got to start nailing all the sinful, false desires to the cross. Our lives are not our own, but belong to God. He's our creator. We are best. Life is best when we're living for him. And I want to say some things that I think will probably upset some of you. So just know, like, you're forewarned. I want to push a little bit today. I think some of you are so busy with all the stuff in your life that you actually don't have time for a real biblical community where you can actually experience life with other people and really extend God's love to them. Some of you, I think you think of your house as your house. And you don't think about it as a mission outpost of hospitality and kindness and of God's grace and love so that other people might experience it in your house. So that's the purpose of your house. I think some of you wouldn't consider yourself a racist, but you really don't have any friends who are a different color of skin than you, and you're not really willing to sit down and listen to them and hear their story and what they've gone through and how they see the world. So you just stay in your own comfortable cliques. I think some of you think of your job as your place to make money and to further your career instead of a mission assignment where you get to interact with people that I can't even get into as a pastor, can't even get to talk to them. I think some of you think of your money as your money rather than mission ammunition that can blow big holes in the gates of hell. Tools for God's kingdom to spread. I think some of you just want comfort and ease. That you don't want to sacrifice anything. You just want comfort and ease. Instead of seeing yourself as a servant of Christ that calls you to lay down his life to serve others. I'm tired of trying to get people to serve in the ministry. We've got over 70 kids that come through on a Sunday, and there's thanks be to God for the workers that do. But hardly any of our parents serve in there. You know what I'm saying today? We've got to deny ourselves. That's actually the path to life. The way up is the way down. The way to victory is the way of defeat. The way of life is the way of death. The way of the cross. He's the Christ of the cross. There's a high cost. I'm not saying these things today to be mean. I'm not trying to whip us or give us a spanking today or something. I mean, all of us are going to fail us. None of us are going to be perfect at this. That's why Jesus actually died on the cross for us so that we don't have to. I'm saying there's a high cost, but it's worth every penny. It's worth it all. I think the reason Jesus is so bold to call us to this, call us to pick up our crosses, is Jesus doesn't want anyone to lose their soul. Jesus doesn't want anyone to be sent to hell. Jesus wants you to experience life, not death. He wants you to experience joy in and through him because it's the best joy that you can ever have. Jesus cares about the direction of your life. You matter to Jesus. You matter. Each and every one of us have to personally, individually decide whether we're going to follow Jesus or whether we're just going to live our life for ourselves. There's really only two options. That's only two options you have in life, and one is far, far better. May God help us to choose life. Be willing to give up everything to gain it. It's a high cost, but it's worth it. It's worth every